I lost you.
There we go. Sorry about that.
Okay.
My mic came unplugged. Yeah. When it comes to Shaq, like I get that. It's just I more or less want to see what he's able to do before I'm like, yeah, I want him to have a full match by himself because he.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that. Yeah,
a tag team, you're able to cover up your
flaws.
Flaws. Like if you're not able to do certain moves, you have someone else in there that can do it for you. And
yeah, I just been like fantasy match would be kind of cool one of these days. If they're not deciding to be buddies on TV, it'd be kind of cool to see a 1-on-1. We saw the tag match; it was decent enough. So,
and at that, sorry, 1-on-1, I do want to see him a 1-on-1 with Darby Allin. I think Darby Allin would make it really entertaining. He might be a small guy, but he will make that entertaining as hell.
Yeah, I think with Darby Allin, he has that aspect to where he just has such an entertaining part of his he has that I'm not going to give up character and attitude, So he has a very interesting character. He's like some kind of like an enigma, as JR referred to him last week on Dynamite. He's like he has that in him, and I think some people put his size down, but like. Some people, sometimes it's okay to be smaller too. It depends on how you can portray your body, portray your character. So,
and with that, it's fine if they're small. They just have to be able to sell it. Marcus Stunt, you selling the fact that he's small by doing all these tiny things and getting caught. That's entertaining, especially I think it was a couple weeks ago, I think, where he got caught by somebody and then Luchasaurus ran in and big booted the guy. Yeah. Like he was all like, oh, Marco Stunt was just the distraction. That makes sense. You have this little annoying gnat flying all over the place while you got the big bee that's going to sting everybody.
Yeah.
Or sting everybody. It's just more or less, utilizing what's available to you, and
Absolutely.
And Darby Allin is one of those that, yeah, he's small. He's small like this is actually one of the things that you and I talked about with Just Incredible. He's small like Spike Dudley, but it's just one of those things where you just got to make it work for him.
Absolutely. They're saying getting back to the F word. Ric Flair's talked about a number of times his body being put through hell and everything. He's talking about his first day of training as a wrestler. He thought he was going to die. And I've been there, not so much as a wrestler, but you've been there too, where you're getting into conditioning, and it's like you're going to die. It's like I have been in the wrestling part of that, but it's to where to get your body prepared for something like that, man, it's unimaginable. I mean, not only are you getting in the physical condition, but you're also getting the physicality of how it is to take bumps and how it is to take a punch, and it's just Yeah, dude, we both have watched documentaries about this stuff too. It's just insane of how much they put their body through, and it's you do that when you first get in, and also you got to continue doing that, and it's like you got to keep track of a body style, especially being wrestling. It's nice. It's okay to be small, but you also it's sort of like some people don't have that way to get they don't have their bodies are not going to be built like a Brian Cage or Lance Archer or Batista or Drew McIntyre, etc. Mm-hmm. And it's okay to have a small body. It's just where when you have a little bit more better physique, it just kind of does more for your cosmetics and everything.
It gives the impression that you seem more like a rough, tough guy or whatever.
You belong to. It makes me. Oh, that's that. If I go to somebody saying, "Hey, I'm a pro wrestler," they're like, "What?" A lot of people are not, especially in the business, or don't watch it. Or like you look too small. It's like there's guys or girls that are smaller than me, but it's if you can sell it, if you can do it, hey,
And that's another. And I'm sorry to go back to Darby Allin relative to that. Yeah, he's a smaller guy, but he makes it work for him, and kind of like what you said about the conditioning. This dude puts his body through a lot with doing the extreme sports with skateboarding. So this guy is very familiar to pain, and Ric Flair is not the only person that mentioned that the first day of wrestling training was probably the roughest.
Oh yeah,
There's been football players that converted over that was like, this is way worse than I expected.
And, I'm sorry. There's one more thing. Go
ahead. The only other thing I was going to mention, you're talking about Ric Flair and doing damage to his body and whatnot. There's been plenty of wrestlers that just get ultimately jacked up because of the sport. I mean, I think was it Duke? Was it Duke Droese that broke his neck and became a paramedic because of it from Sky High? I know it's relative to D'Lo Brown because he landed wrong from a lift up power bomb.
You're talking about draws.
Draws, thank you. Yeah, draws. But there's things like that happen. You can't always prevent from it, even though you might have the best conditioning ever. And another thing that comes to mind is when Brock Lesnar tried to do a shooting star press and landed on his neck.
Oh God, that was unnecessary. That whole thing was unnecessary.
He wanted to do it. He wanted to show off his ability.
That's unnecessary. I know JR was talking about his podcast. I'm not saying it because JR, but he's it was very scary for Brock and all his parents or dad was there after the match. And I agree with JR. That whole deal was, I understand it's amazing. It's cool to see some guy do that, but it's unnecessary to put your body through something that most likely it's just not going to go well. And it's just like, it wasn't necessary. I didn't watch that WrestleMania. I watched it later on down the road, but I didn't watch it live. But seeing that, I was like, he didn't have to do that, man. It's just
he didn't.
He really.
Brock was just lucky he had such enormous neck muscles that it didn't do anything to him.
He's very lucky.
Besides knocking him out.
Yeah, he had some damage done, but it's to where he did. Thank God it wasn't anything over the top as far as like it didn't end his career or permanently damage her life. But that was just not. I understand he wanted to try to see if he can do it and show off. I understand it's WrestleMania, I get it, but it just wasn't necessary, honestly. It just when I saw him, like, good Lord. But I was, now I got older, even more so. I was like, man, that dude just didn't need to try to do that. Just put his body that much at risk. Get a future ahead of him, man.
Yeah, and apparently he's done it plenty of times before. It's just that one he messed up.
No, just like you. Do it.
Well, agreed. But some people are. If they could do something, they're going to just do it.
I don't know, but you talk about Brock Lesnar years ago. I don't know, 6, 7 years, maybe longer than that. Actually, longer than that. Someone asked him, or during an interview, they asked him, "So, which one's tougher, being a UFC champion or a WWE champion?" And he caught that person off guard, and he said, "The WWE champion is harder, man." It's like, what? That stuff's fake. It's like, this stuff's real. How, like, you don't understand. It's like, I'm taking bumps 4 and 5 nights a week traveling. And here I am doing the UFC. One fight every so often. Don't ever travel, except till he gets to the first fight or whatnot. It's like, that's easy. It's like, you're going to get physical, but it's like, you want to compare it. It's like, being a WWE champion, being a wrestler, man, it's no joke. It's a lot of fatigue and stamina. It's everything. It's a lot of pain. It's just like he surprised that interviewer when he said WWE was tougher, and to be the champion and then all things necessary to be a wrestler. It's especially being the champion, where you're on focus. You're traveling all the time, even more so, guaranteed to be there.
Right.
Except for obviously years now, the last couple of years where he's hardly ever there. I'm talking about his first run.
Well, and I know which interview you're talking about, because that was the same one where he explained, if I have a fight with the UFC, I have months to prepare for it. He goes, this, I have to do it. It's just, I might have maybe 3 months, if that, between shows, or less than that normally. So I know which interview you're talking about. He literally laid it out for him, like, I might not even get a break to rehab my body.
Yeah. That's the thing about that. Yeah, that's why I say, if you think it's fake, then why don't you go try to do it? I don't want to see anybody get hurt, but it's to where it's why I always have a lot of respect in a lot of the boys and girls that do this stuff for a living, or just are trying to get into it to make a living. and bust their ass night in and night out, day in and day out in the gym and inside the ring to train. It's you're not only looking at your talent, what skills you have, but you're also trying to evolve, better your character as well as your mic skills. And then of course there's a gym, being in the gym all the time, and then watching your diet and mic skills, and it just goes on and on. So,
well, speaking of that, I would love to see someone watch the Britt Baker match against.
Oh man,
God, what's her name?
I
Thunder
forgot
Rosa.
her name.
Thunder Rosa.
Whitehead. Yeah, I
Thunder
should know
Rosa.
that name, but yeah, I tweeted out about that. Mad respect, man. Those two women. I'm not. I don't have to watch hardcore matches a lot, but it's it's cool, whatever. But it's not my taste buds all the time. That match was just, man. If y'all want to see a damn good match with two great women wrestlers, watch that match. Girls, women, ladies. My bad.
No, I'm sorry. I'm messing with you because you said it like that.
Girls, boys, women.
Just that kind of damage, taking the thumbtacks and everything like that.
Oh my gosh.
What do you think about Mick Foley being a little upset by the fact that Britt Baker, in character, said that she was better than Mick Foley because she accomplished it in one night what it took him 20 years to accomplish?
Quite honestly, I don't think. Obviously, I haven't heard from Mick at all. I mean, maybe there's just something inside him of like, F you, but also at the same time, I think he just looks at us, hey, she's at least talking about my name. It's inside it's on the show. It's part of her character. And you're looking at that sport, wrestling, is to where when they're doing their in character promos and things on the microphone they're saying, it's to where they may not always mean it. And it's like, it's good to like have that more, bring on more of the heelish part. And
right.
So what you about to say something?
Well, I was going to say he said that stung a little, but then he made a couple of jabs on her on Twitter. So I can't tell if he's like playing up the fact that she's a heel and just kind of trying to get her more attention, or if he's actually like that really bothered him or not.
Yeah, I said personally, it might have. That's why I said first. That's why I said it might have stung a little bit to hear that because of what he's been through in his prime. And in Athers prime, but it might stung for that part of it, and I understand that. But he also looks at it. Is that what she really feels? I mean, is that what she personally, Britt, her own self feels? I'm sure, obviously, she don't. So it stings to hear it, but it's more or less he knows that's part of her gimmick.
Yeah,
what she said to get heat.
That's what I think. I'm literally think it was just one of those where she was saying to get his name out there because maybe people don't really remember him that are on the younger side. But I also think it was one of those where it's like, oh, I can stir the pot a little bit more and get heat back because everyone's just so amazed that I had this match and talking positively about me to get them to hate me again because it's just a form of cheap heat.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, part of him may have felt this thing a little bit because of his history, but I think he just looks at it, hey, I'm being talked about on TV, national TV, and she used me to get a little heat. So that's the props there on that one. But it's, who knows? She may tweet him or direct message him or text him. I don't know. Say, hey, that's just not, that's not me personally. Maybe she done that, but I think he didn't, just hearing it, probably like, damn, Buzz, like, hey, I'm out there now a little bit, So I think it was all right. It's it seemed the first one to use the cheap heat, as we call it. But hopefully you've heard it before.
I had to explain that to someone recently about the cheap heat because the cheap heat thing. Because we're talking about, well, you and I kind of talked about this earlier about the fact that Peacock is taking some stuff out that can be offensive to people. Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, why would they do that if it's going to be offensive to people? I'm like, oh, well, it's easy. It's cheap heat. And they're like, well, what's that? I'm like, you're going to the lowest common denominator to get people to hate you. Like, it's the easiest thing to go to. You're going to say something to piss people off because you want people to be angry with you. They want you to see you get beat. They want to see you get beat. So you just use this little method of like, oh, well, people don't like people that talk about this.